Hermann Hesse was born on 2 of July 1877 in the Black Forest town of Koll in Württemberg, Germany. Both of his parents served in India at a mission under the auspices of the Basel Mission, a Protestant Christian missionary society. His mother, Marie Gambert, was born of such a mission in India in 1842. In describing his own childhood, he said, "A happy child I was not. As was usual among missionaries of the time, he was left behind in Europe at the age of 4 when his parents went to India. In his teens, he attempted to rebel against his authoritarian father, Hermann Gambert, but finally submitted. In 1881, when he was 4, the family moved to Basel, Switzerland, staying for 6 years and then returning to home. After successful attendance at the Latin school in Göppingen, he began to attend the Evangelical Theological Seminary of Marlborough Abbey in 1891. Here, in March 1892, he showed his rebellious character, and, in one instance, he fled from the seminary. He began a journey through various institutions and schools and experienced intense conflicts with his parents in 1893. He passed the one-year examination which concluded his schooling. After this, he began a bookshop apprenticeship in Esslingen. Then, in the early summer of 1894, he began a 14-month mechanic apprenticeship at a clock tower factory in Col. The monotony of soldering and filing work made him resolve to turn himself toward more spiritual activities. In October 1895, he was ready to begin wholeheartedly a new apprenticeship with a bookseller in Tübingen. This experience from his youth he returned to later in his novel Beneath the Wheel. On October 17, 1895, he began working on the bookshop in Tübingen, which had a specialized collection in theology, philology, and law. He studied theological writings and several texts on Greek mythology. He also began reading Nietzsche in 95, and that philosopher's ideas of dual impulses of passionate order in humankind was a heavy influence on most of his novels. By 1898, he had a respectable income that enabled financial independence from his parents. During this time, he concentrated on the works of the German Romantics, including much of the works of Clement Brentano, Joseph Freyer, von Jundorf, Friedrich Hölderlin, and Novalis. In his letters to his parents, he expressed a belief that the morality of the artist is replaced by the aesthetics. In 1896, his poem Madonna appeared in a Viennese periodical. In the autumn, he released his first small volume of poetry, Romantic Songs. In 1897, a published poem of his Grand Waltz drew him a fan letter. It was from Helen Boyd, who the next year married Eugene Dietrich, a young publisher. To please his wife, Dietrich agreed to publish his collection of prose entitled One Hour After Midnight in 1898. Both works were a business failure. In 2 years, only 54 of the 600 printed copies of Romantic Songs were sold, and One Hour After Midnight received only one printing and sold sluggishly. In 1901, His undertook to fulfill a long-held dream and traveled for the first time to Italy. In the same year, His changed jobs and began working at the Antiquarium Wattenwil in Basel. His had more opportunities to release poems and small literary texts to journals. These publications now provided honorariums. His new books are agreed to publish his next work, posthumous writings and poems of Hermann Locher. In 1902, his mother died after a long and painful illness. He could not bring himself to attend her funeral, afraid that it would worsen his depression. At the outbreak of the First World War in 1914, he registered himself as a volunteer with the Imperial Army, saying that he could not sit inactively by a warm fireplace while other young authors were dying on the front. He was, however, found unfit for combat duty, but was assigned to service involving the care of war prisoners. In September 1914, he wrote an essay entitled "O Friends, Not These Stones," which was published not to call for patriotism. He called for subdued voices and recognition of Europe's common heritage. What followed from this, he later indicated was a great turning point in his life. For the first time, he found himself in the middle of a serious political conflict, attacked by the German press, recipient of hate mail, and distance from old friends. He did receive continued support from his friend Theodore Hughes and the French writer Roman Roland, who visited his in August 1915. In 1917, he wrote to Roland, "The attempt to apply love to matters political has failed."